That is part of the PSYOP. This article is exactly that. It's complete and utter hogwash.
So in light of the Wall Street Journal article coming out that has been described as total quote-unquote hogwash, Jesse Michels tweeted out that he would pay first $50K to Sean Kirkpatrick, that was the leader of Arrow, $50K to come and talk with him on a show of some kind, and recently someone backed him up and he made it $100K. Obviously there was no reply that I am aware of, at least, but I'll keep you updated if I do hear something. That UFO podcast also was like, I'll give Jessie 50K to come on her show, but that was a joke, I think. But Jessie should go on her show regardless. And yeah, I wonder why everyone really wants to talk to Sean Kirkpatrick. He's also been on the show or seen with the people of Skinwalker Ranch, so this is a really odd person with his activities as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out about him.
And I say this not just because, I believe the David Grushes and the Lou Elizondos that have testified to a bipartisan group of lawmakers that the phenomenon is not just that the phenomenon is real, but that we have definitive proof in the form of spacecraft, of crashed spaceships, and as they refer to biologics. I believe what I know to be true because I've gone around the world investigating the phenomenon, investigating landing cases, crash cases in Brazil. I've been to China, Russia, Australia, South America, Africa. The phenomenon is definitely real. They know it. They can't explain it. And quite honestly, they're in a corner right now. And this has got Sean Kirkpatrick's fingerprints all over it, as far as I'm concerned.
So what do you mean by that? For our audience that's uninitiated into Sean Kirkpatrick, maybe you can explain a little bit about his history. He's featured prominently in the piece. Maybe you can just set the stage there for that.
Sure. So Sean Kirkpatrick ran Arrow, which was the UAP task force, for a couple of years. He was working closely with Senator Gillibrand and I believe Rounds and Schumer. But he was, and I know this, because I was working with firsthand witnesses that had already gone to Arrow and testified in a skiff and given street addresses and names and locations of where this stuff is. And none of those detailed reports, classified detailed reports, wound up being even part of the presentation that he ultimately gave. I mean, it was Sean Kirkpatrick, bless his heart. I'm sure that he had the DOD pretty much telling him how to do everything. His hands were tied, I'm guessing, but he just, it was a complete and utter waste of time. I think the new guy, John Klasklowski, who's running Arrow now, I think he's going to be a lot more transparent. Although he did tell me in a skiff a couple of months ago, I started saying, obviously you guys are going to come to the conclusion after a careful review of the data, especially the classified data, that we're dealing with some of this stuff as a non-human intelligence. And he looked at me, he didn't say no. He just goes, James, I can't part my hair without the DOD's approval. And you can quote me on that. Basically what he was saying is, Congress has put me in charge of this organization to get to the bottom of it. But unfortunately, no matter what I uncover, with the clearances I have, I'm not able to share that with the general public, or perhaps not even Congress, without the approval of the DOD.
One of the things that the legacy media is so good at doing is lying by omission. And I think this Wall Street Journal piece, to me, is the perfect example of that. Here, they go through and in detail try to paint all of these big UFO cases as just disinformation campaigns by the Pentagon. But they don't make any mention. I mean, there's plenty of cases, the cases you covered in Brazil, for crying out loud, in your documentary, or, hundreds of other cases where we have whistleblower testimonies, and they omitted all of that to paint a narrative in their article that it's all one big psyop.
Oh, for me, I take it personally sometimes because I know these individuals quite well. People like Robert Salas, the launch control officer, Minuteman missiles, height of the Cold War. These guys are so elite and so trained. I mean, my gosh, they got the finger on the nuclear weapons, You know, for these guys to come forward, it's not exactly a career enhancing move, and give testimony about what they experienced and what happened at their bases. I mean, think about these guys. These guys are responsible for pushing their, you know, the launch control officers for a nuclear war. It's like, if that's not a credible report, I don't know what is. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, the phenomenon we feature, I mean, thanks to Robert Hastings, I mean, countless incidences where these objects are interfering with our nukes. I mean, they're shutting them off in most cases, flying over these installations, shutting them off, and then whizzing off with impunity.
So right now I want to hear all about this from you guys down below. Let me know, do you think Sean Kirkpatrick should take this? Do you think it should be more or less? I don't know. It feels like he's a public, or he used to be a public representative of some kind. He was in an important position for the American people, so he should be at least somewhat transparent about it. And with the Wall Street Journal coming out, everybody's pissed about the hogwash, and we're going to be covering all the updates that come from it. Thanks for watching till here. The daily upload, subscribe, notifications on, like. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.
Coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on. Our future is coming on, it's coming on.